Oh yeah, you can see the state of the grass. Look at that. That's rotted. And there, look. I've got rotten grass. Oh, well, we've got another day where it's yet again too wet for me to get out my hedge trimmer. I don't know what to make of this spring really, or winter really. I suppose we're still in winter, aren't we? It's just been so wet, and it's been ongoing wet. Well, since probably October. The odd good day, the odd wet day, and then it dries up a little bit, and you think, oh, I just crack on, and then it goes wet again. I'm going to spin around now. We look at the neighbours' fields there, look. So there we go, look, there's Regis down there, and that's going right across to our field, and look, down there is our big mead, where I haven't finished hedge trimming yet. Now I've got the hedge trimmer on just behind me. Look, every morning I'm coming out thinking, can I get out there and do it? And I can't, and I'm running out of time to the end of the season. Now I'm going to go down and have a look. We'll go and have a look at how bad it is down there. So I'm used to flooding on this farm, but I think this has been a longer spell where the fields have been underwater really, because what I'm normally seeing, I do get floods, so you've seen the videos. Normally you get a flood about November, maybe another one about Feb about now, but what we've had is this really prolonged spell of wet that the ground can't take any more moisture, and as soon as it rains the flood level comes up. Now you know my issues about drainage and stuff. I really don't think anyone's looking after the drainage down there anymore. Well, I know they're not, but my main concern now is the impact it's having on my grass, because I think prolonged underwater for a prolonged, let me get this right. So grass underwater for a prolonged time, you can go like that, and it could well start dying off. I've seen Regis crops, they've certainly started dying off in the wet areas, and I think he's got a lot of mud there where there should be wheat. What I might do is just do an add-on later on this video when the water goes down, or do it another day where we actually look at what the impact is on the grass and maybe on Regis wheat, but we'll go and have a look anyway. Oh, I just want to get on, you know. Every farmer, it's not just me, every farmer's in the same boat, whether they've been trying to drill wheat this winter or whether they've been trying to get out with slurry or muck. It's just been a very difficult time for everyone. I could drive on those fields, but the damage I do with the ruts and everything just isn't worth it. And that's probably the biggest issue everyone's got, is the damage they'll cause to their grassland, or you know, they might even get a tractor stuck or the drill stuck if they're still trying to drill. Right, anyway, let's get down and have a look. So here we go. I haven't got my submarine with me, but we are heading off down to look at what we can see. I'm going to have a little experiment as well, because you might remember the road along from me is quite often flooded, but I did notice when I was hedge trimming down there, where I got Buzz Lightyear from, that there was considerable silt in the ditch that takes the water from the road. So no wonder the road floods regularly. I'm going to go and have a look. I got my stick with me. We'll walk along and have a look at that bit roadside ditch before we go across to my fields, but just down there in floodplain. Right, let's go. Right, it's actually a lovely sunny day now. The birds are singing. Nice to hear the birds singing actually. It's sort of, you know spring's coming, even though we've had all this rain. It's just starting to turn, isn't it? I noticed some of the new quickthorn is just starting to come out. The young stuff always does come out early. Right, so here's a good example of, there's a very full ditch there. Look at that, that's right up there. Now they cleaned that out the other, kind of like a couple of years ago. But if you look up here, there's a flood sign. Let's go and have a look. There we go, so there's this road sign. Let's state in flood, and down here is where it always floods. So we're going to go on down and just look at the state of the ditch down here. Walking along, you can just see all the rubbish people chuck out. Look, Red Bull, plastic container there, more Red Bull. And coming on along here, Buzz Lightyear just picked up here. Buzz Lightyear. Buzz Lightyear had a bit of a baler accident. Looks like he's been on farm. I wonder if his head thing shuts. Good old Buzz. Let's go and have a look. Now you can see where the water is already sitting on the road. There's water in the ditch now. But to my mind, this ditch hadn't been cleaned out for years. Let's go and have a look. More rubbish here. Now look, you can start seeing the problem. There's silts running off the road. This ditch, look, that ditch should be, the silt is nearly level with the top of the ditch. That should be cleaned out. This water here has hardly got anywhere to run to. I can see it again, look. Look, that's not deep water. There's silt and dirt in there, look, the crap in there. What that is, paintbrush. Someone's back of the car flat. Look, full of gravel. Hardly any depth of ditch in there. No wonder the water can't get away. And it's not even been raining for quite a while and that water's on the road. So as I kind of said before, it's a lack of maintenance on these ditches. Look, I can see it here. Let me get down in this, look. I don't know how well you can pick that up. There's only an inch of water. That ditch ought to be 3 foot deep. You know, every year these ditches need doing, especially here, because this is the flood point every year for that bridge. So realistically, what they need to do is they need to come along. I think I might actually contact the council myself. They need to come along here regularly, clean this ditch out, and take the water away from that road that's flooding. There's no rocket science, a lot of this. Right, we're going to go and have a look at our fields that have got the same issue from lack of maintenance from the rivers. My ditch is alright, I've got quite good ditches, but it's the rivers that go away, or the Ladden Brook that goes away from it, hasn't been cleaned out for years. Let's go and have a look. But the irony of it is if that ditch is cleaned out better, I imagine the water will get away from that road quicker and go on to my fields quicker. So, although I want that road sorted out, all it means is if they're not willing to clean out the streams and the rivers further downstream, then I'm not going to get my water away from my fields very quickly. It's going to stay on my fields, isn't it? Brilliant. Anyway, the grass is looking good. I have to say, even though we haven't managed to put any fertiliser or muck on this field, it's a bit early for fertiliser. Look, there's a good lot of grass coming up. You could almost let cattle out to graze that. Let's go and have a look next door anyway. Look how wet this ground is. Jeez. And here we go. Back on it again, look. Floodplain for the village. Oh. Look at this. So this is the lowest point from the village. So unfortunately for me, this is where all the water heads. And I'm not going to be able to change that. The reality is, if we look up there, this hill goes up to the hill there. So all the rainwater and everything that comes down falls on the tarmac from the new houses and everything comes down here. But it's not very nice because look, you've got a sludge level here. All the scum goes to the edge. Now if you look at that, it looks like a lot of, I'm not sure what that is. A lot of flies on it. They're little flies trapped in the water. So, look at that, it's a horrible scummy And the impact on this, for me, is a bit of a pain, because so this field could really benefit. I've got some big stacks of muck. This field could really benefit with the muck going on it now, but absolutely no chance, because not only can I not access it now, but the reality is if I put it on there, it's just going to wash away if this happens again. So realistically, I can't really put muck on these lower fields very easily in the winter. Let me just walk on by. I'm going to go and have a look. I'm approaching from a different side than normal. I'm going to go and have a look where I've been trying to do hedge trimming before the floods, and where the other lot of flooding is, because that was where I thought the grass looked particularly bad, because this area here floods secondary to the primary fields over there. It must be to do with the level of the ground. The fields over that side flood first, and then it sort of works its way back. So we're going to have a look at that, because I got a feeling that some of the grass has actually started to die because it's been underwater so much this winter. I mean, look, this is the hedges I'm supposed to be trimming. You can see there, look, can you see the trim line from previous years? I've got 2 or 3 foot of cutting to do there. That's 2-year growth there. Right. Oh, the gate iron's missing from there. Where's that? Oh no, it's there. It's come off the bottom there. Some of our lovely, we know who they are, people have come through here, left all the gates open. Charming, thank you. Right, so through this lovely little green lane. This is a nice little green lane. It's a remainder of a track that went all the way around the edge of that field there. And then in the 1960s, my dad took it out once he bought this field. I think I've talked about it before. It used to belong to Pendix, Miss King's, and this was the track to get the cattle from Miss King's all the way to here. Look, I can see that gate's open as well. Obviously someone's been through it. These people who come on the farm, and we all know who they are, I've talked about it many a times, they never leave the gates out, shut the gates behind them. So you can tell they've been, because their primary job is not to shut gates. Their primary job is to go hare coursing, and then they leave the gates open. So you always know when they've been, because there's a string of gates open. Right, so that gate's open there, look. Oh, and I did manage to do a bit of hedge trimming down here. Let me just I'll shut this on the way back. Look, I've been round this field. I started doing it. I'm half done, look. Half done. Oh, it's a bit blowy. Apologies if it's a bit blowy on the mic. Can you see as I walk along, I've done the half this side, and then I stopped. With hindsight, I should have come down here and done this earlier in the year and left the higher fields for later, because you know I leave these fields late because I want to get for the benefit of the wildlife. But how could I tell what sort of year we'd have this year? It's unbelievable. Right, I'm going to come up here now. Look, you can see, oh yeah, you can see the state of the grass. Look at that. That's rotted. And there, look. I've got rotten grass. Right, so this field here won't be touched till midsummer. I'll be haymaking out here, probably June, July. That's normally when we do it. So it's got a chance to recover, and I think it will recover. But I'm going to go on up. I can see rotten grass everywhere. It's how much time it can spend underwater. Look at this. Look, can you see the colour of that? That's rotten grass. A bit of plastic there, I'll pick that up on the way back. So I got a feeling it's going to be worse as we get down towards the stream, because that would have been underwater a lot longer. God, this is wet. Looking at it, I could grow rice out here. Might have to do that. Christ almighty, if you can't even grow grass, what can you grow? You know, you can't grow crops down here, but if you can't grow grass, what hope is there? Jesus, look at this. So this is right. This is a bit more serious, I think. You see the grass? I can't. There's only so far I can go. Can you see? Can you? I don't know whether you can pick this up. Can you see how brown that grass is underneath the water? It's not completely dead. You can see it's green. Right. This is definitely dying grass. Look at it. Can you see that? It's brown, not green, isn't it? So I would say that majority of that is dying. So this is a field that I couldn't graze. It's been so flipping wet. I couldn't graze this off in the autumn. I got to the point where I wanted to do it, and there was grazing for the cows there, and we couldn't get them out here. It was too wet. I'll put that little bit of video in if I can find it. Oh, you can see how wet it is down here. Look at this. This is where I got as far as I got with the cows, and electric fence across, and I gave up because I realised the rain was coming and it was going to flood, and it sure has. And the cattle can get across there if they really wanted to, but are they going to want to? I can't tell whether they've been over there. I'm not going to go across any further than that. So that was November, and I left a good few days worth of grazing out here. Now that actually might help me a little bit. Can you see above the ground, above the water level, there is grass sticking up? Now that's probably sticking up because it's not been grazed off. Normally I wouldn't have much of a bite out here, but it's not been grazed off. So that grass above the water line is actually all right. But what is down below here, I have no idea how that's going to do. I'll come back down here when this is all gone down. I'll come back down here and do another video. We'll have a look at what's underneath here once this water's gone, and we'll have a look at. I'm going to just take a photo a minute, and we'll have a look at selfie mode. There we go. That's the old Facebook. You know I do Facebook. Funky Farmer Facebook. Quite often if you look on Facebook, I put stuff on there I wouldn't put on YouTube. So if you don't do Facebook, I'm sorry, you missed out a little bit. In fact, all the pictures of all the tree planters are being put on there. The ones that have bothered sending me pictures, there's a few outstanding ones that I'm still waiting for. One person in Ireland, not a YouTuber, but someone who applied for a tree, just will not communicate with me. They've had the tree. They won't reply to emails. They won't acknowledge they've had a tree. They won't tell me, well, they haven't acknowledged sending me any pictures. It's a bit annoying, really, because I put a lot of effort in this, and if you bother applying for a tree, I think you should probably take part in it, because I'll pick up that plastic. You know, it wasn't essential for a picture. You didn't have to put yourself in it, but do you know what? I would have liked a picture of the tree planted just to know it had been planted. But also, there was not a waiting list, but there was a list of people that applied for trees during the exercise and also since. Oh, there's another bit of plastic to pick up. It's a Coke bottle. Throw that out your car window and it ends up in a farmer's field. Yeah, as I said, there was a waiting list for, I didn't say not a waiting list. It's not a waiting list. There was a list of all people that applied for trees, and so a lot of them were really worthy causes, and the people who had the trees were really lucky to get one, because there was more applied than trees. So the person who hasn't acknowledged me, I'm a bit cheesed off, really, because that could have gone to someone who really wanted a tree, and there were some people who really deserved one, but I didn't have enough. But anyway, hey, you know, I think that's just people, isn't it? What was it to say? You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. Right, I'm going back. I got my hands full of plastic now, and I'm carrying that can stay open. I got to come back down here with a hedge trimmer anyway and trim this. Am I going to get in this field, and hedge trim this? It's unlikely, isn't it? I mean, if you see the wetness there, it'll take longer than I've got time to trim these hedges for it to dry out. So I'm really looking at the option of not doing this year. Look, they've done their side, and I can't do this side, which I guess isn't the end of the world. But do you know what? I'm a little bit twiddling my thumbs now because I'm in between. I suppose I could look at the SFI applications, couldn't I? That's something that everyone doesn't want to do, but they know they've got to. I'm between jobs really. I can't go fencing, it's too wet. Can't go muck spreading, fertiliser spreading, too wet. Can't go hedge trimming, too wet. And a lot of those sort of farmyard jobs, they need to be done when the cows are out of the way, really. Anyway, right. I'm going to head on back now. I got a Cornish pasty with my name on it. So there's something to look forward to, and I do love a pie and a pasty. You know that anyway. Right, I've waited on enough here. I'm sorry this isn't a constructive video. This is just the reality. Look, I just spin it around again. You know, I'm struggling to hold this level with a... Let me just put that down there a minute. Oh, look at that. Farmer's Field in Titherington. But as I said, I'm trying to multitask here. As I said, you saw the state of the ditches, or that ditch by the road. That's an easy one to do. Unfortunately, the flood line starts really where the stream is, and that leads to the Ladden Brook. And that, they haven't cleaned that out for 30 years. You know, is it any wonder that my fields flood? If you defer maintenance, you can only defer it for so long before it causes a problem. I look upon the rivers and streams of this country as like the gutters in your house. If you don't clean them out, for the first few years that doesn't matter. But after a while, they just fill up with dirt, and then your side of your house is going to get wet, and then that leads to problems, doesn't it? Well, that's what I've got here. My gutters are all blocked up. Not just mine, but all the neighbours and everywhere like that. And as I said before, 30 years ago, there were teams of men that used to regularly come through and clean all this and sort it out. And they don't do that now. Whether that's cost cutting or environmental, I don't know. But the interesting thing is, although they always say there's not enough money, they seem to find money to waste on stupid projects. And if you want to look at one of those close to my home, they've just spent over £4.5 million closing a high street that no one wanted to be closed. And taking a year to do it, paving it, making it one way, making it hard to park there, just making it bad for the businesses that are there. And there was a town vote, 75% said don't do it, and the council said we know better than you, we're going to do that. And now they're saying they've got no money and they're going to introduce parking charges. Now their argument is that money came from central government, not from council tax funds. Well, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to think that if this is an exercise that's going on all around the country, no wonder the money is short for the government, which then means that they might give it to you that, but they've taken it away from somewhere else. So they've taken it away from the council budgets. You know, don't do all these stupid projects that no one wants. The government would have more money to spend on the councils, and the councils might be able to do things like blooming clean the ditches out and stuff that are more important, in my book. Because the amount of people that can't get to work, I'm on a rant now, the amount of people that can't get to work that way when that road floods is phenomenal, and have to detour around Tortworth everywhere. It's a bit like not fixing the leaks in your roof, but deciding to build a brand new conservatory. You know, spend all that money on the high street and not actually sort out the basics. And the funny thing is, I am on a proper rant now, the funny thing is, I've seen this change in my lifetime, is that council tax used to pay for sensible things, whether, or, you know, not just, you know, fixing the roads and doing the gutters and ditches, or the ditches and things like that around the roads, and sorting out sensible things. And now we seem to have this kind of airy-fairy world where we pay for stupid stuff, stupid signs and boards and equipment in the play parks that, you know, it's all very well. I love the gym equipment, it's great, but you know, you spend the money on that, but you can't fix the basics like the ditches around the community. I don't understand it really. From a farming point of view, you always look after the basic stuff first, and then the fancy stuff comes later. Right, I am on a proper rant. Sorry guys. Right, I'm going to shut up now. I'm back to where we started. I've got a pasty with my name on it. There's the Land Rover. Here's my plastic. I am the ranting funky farmer, and I'll see you all soon. All right, that went on a bit longer than I thought it did. Right, meant to. Cheers.